Welcome to AI Book Highlights.
Great to be here.
Today we're getting into Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Feck.
A very popular one, and for good reason.
Definitely. And forget that pressure, the pressure to be positive all the time. This book is quite the opposite. It's a counterintuitive approach aimed at helping you figure out what really matters to you so you can maybe find a bit more contentment.
Exactly. It's not about being indifferent. It's about being indifferent to what doesn't matter. It's about choosing your battles, you could say.
Right. Choosing what gets your limited energy.
Precisely. So we've gone through it, pulled out the key ideas, the highlights we think can really help you, reassess
The
things.
Rishticle.
Yeah, make them useful right away.
Okay, let's jump in. First highlight, the backwards law. This one's a bit of a head spinner.
It really is.
The idea is wanting positive experiences too much can actually be a negative experience.
While paradoxically, accepting negative experiences can feel kind of positive.
It goes against everything we're usually told, right? Always strive. Always be happy.
Totally. Manson borrows from Alan Watts here. The core idea is the more you desperately pursue feeling better, the less satisfied you become. Because you're constantly highlighting what you lack.
Exactly that. Think about wanting to be super wealthy. Desperately wanting it.
Yeah.
Well, Manson argues that can make you feel poorer and more insecure than someone who's just, content with a stable income.
Or wanting to be loved, like really intensely, that can make you feel lonelier.
Because you're so focused on its absence. It's this constant chase that creates the dissatisfaction. Accepting the meh parts of life can actually be more freeing.
Less pressure.
Less pressure, exactly.
Okay, that leads nicely into the second highlight. The subtle art of choosing your ex.
Ah, yes, the title concept.
It's basically saying our attention, our energy, it's finite. Limited resource.
Totally. You only have so much mental and emotional energy to go around. So you have to be deliberate, consciously choose what you care about, and base that choice on your personal values.
Right. Because if you try to care about everything, every news story, every social media drama, every little annoyance,
you burn out.
You burn out, feel overwhelmed, and maybe even start feeling like entitled, expecting everything to always be smooth and happy because you're trying so hard.
Yeah, that entitlement thing is interesting. Like, we deserve constant comfort.
That life rarely provides. So Manson stresses focus, prioritize effectively. But there's a nuance here. Subtlety number 2, he calls it.
Okay.
To not give a fuck about adversity, the tough stuff.
Yeah.
You first have to give a fuck about something more important than adversity.
Ah, okay. So you need a bigger why.
Precisely. He used this example of like an old lady getting furious over an expired coupon at the grocery store.
Right, I remember that.
It suggests maybe she doesn't have bigger, more meaningful things to channel her fucks into.
Yes.
If you care deeply about your family or your work or a cause,
then a stupid coupon or getting stuck in traffic, it doesn't derail you as much.
Exactly. Puts things in perspective. You've got bigger fish to fry, essentially.
Makes sense. Let's move to number 3. The usefulness of suffering. Sounds fun, right?
Yeah, not exactly feel good, but crucial. Manson argues suffering isn't just random awfulness. It's biologically useful.
Nature's agent for change, he calls it.
Yeah. Negative emotions, anxiety, anger, sadness, they're often a call to action. They signal that something's wrong, something needs addressing.
Like physical pain tells you not to touch a hot stove. Emotional pain signals an issue you need to look at.
Maybe bad relationship, an unfulfilling job, whatever. It's feedback.
And positive emotions.
They're like rewards. You achieve something, you feel good. But they're temporary, designed to be. They reinforce good actions, but they don't last forever. It's the negative stuff that often pushes us to grow.
But he adds a warning, right? Emotions aren't commandments.
Absolutely key. They're signposts, suggestions maybe, not gospel truth. You feel angry. Okay, why? Is it justified? Is the intensity appropriate? You have to question them.
Don't just react blindly. Got it.
It's about developing a more mature relationship with your feelings. Not ignoring them, but interpreting them.
Okay, highlight 4. The danger of entitlement and exceptionalism.
This one feels very relevant today.
Definitely. Manson looks at how modern culture, especially consumerism and, social media, can breed this sense that we're all supposed to be amazing, extraordinary, destined for greatness, and also that we're entitled to happiness without struggle.
It sets up unrealistic expectations. You see everyone's highlight reel online.
Right, the perfect vacations, the promotions.
You compare it to your own messy reality, your, average Tuesday, and you feel inadequate.
And then comes the feedback loop from hell, as he calls it.
Explain that one.
You feel bad about something and then you feel bad about feeling bad. Like, why can't I just be happy like everyone else seems to be?
Ugh, yeah, that double whammy. It's brutal. And it stems partly from this cultural idea that average is the new failure.
Which is nuts. Statistically, most people are average. That's what average means.
Exactly. But technology, mass media, it constantly bombards us with the outliers, the exceptional stories. It skews our perception.
It makes us feel like we're falling short if we're not, founding a unicorn startup or saving the world by 30.
It's inherently contradictory, too. If everyone is extraordinary, then nobody is.
Right. The definition collapses. Embracing a bit of ordinariness might actually be healthier.
A relief, even.
Okay, fifth and final highlight. Responsibility versus fault. This is a big one.
Super important distinction.
Manson makes it clear. Taking responsibility for your problems isn't the same as saying they're your fault.
Not at all. Fault is about the past, who caused it, who's to blame.
Right.
Responsibility is about the present.
What are you going to do about it now, regardless of who caused it?
He uses that analogy, right? If a baby is left on your doorstep, yeah, it's not your fault the baby's there. You didn't ask for it.
But it's now your responsibility to decide what happens next. Call the authorities, care for it. You have to respond.
It shifts the focus from blame, which is often unproductive, to action and solutions.
I found this really powerful personally. After a tough breakup years ago, my first instinct was pure blame.
Understandable.
But eventually I realized, okay, maybe things happened that weren't my fault, but my happiness going forward, that was entirely on me, my responsibility.
And that shift, it puts you back in the driver's seat, doesn't it?
Totally. It's empowering. Instead of being a victim of circumstances, you become an agent who can choose how to react and move forward. That's where real learning happens.
Absolutely. Owning your responses, even to unfair situations, is how you grow.
Okay, so those are the highlights. Let's distill them into some actionable takeaways. First one, question your values and metrics.
Right. This is about getting real with yourself. What do you actually value? Not what you think you should value or what society tells you to value.
And how are you measuring success or happiness based on those values?
Yeah. Manson suggests asking why repeatedly. Why do I want that promotion? For the money? Why the money? For security? Why security? Keep digging.
To get to the root value.
And then look at the metrics. Is your metric for a good relationship the number of texts per day, like his brother example? Or is it something deeper, like trust and respect?
He distinguishes between good and bad values, too. Good ones are like reality-based, constructive, controllable.
Things like honesty, creativity, vulnerability maybe, things you can actually do.
And bad values, superstitious, destructive, or outside your control.
Like popularity or being richer than someone specific. He uses the Dave Mustaine Metallica example. That metric kept Mustaine miserable, even when he was hugely successful.
Compared to Pete Best, the original Beatles drummer, who eventually found happiness by shifting his values and metrics after getting kicked out.
Right. So for you listening, the action is examine your own life. What are your driving values? And are the ways you're measuring them actually serving you? Or are they making you miserable?
Choose internal, process-based metrics over external outcomes.
That's a good way to put it.
Takeaway number 2. Embrace uncertainty and question your beliefs.
This is about cultivating some humility, really.
How so?
By accepting that you might be wrong. About a lot of things, actually. Manson pushes us to constantly ask, what if I'm wrong? About our strongest beliefs and assumptions.
That feels uncomfortable. Certainty feels safe.
It feels safe, but Manson argues it's dangerous. Certainty closes you off to learning, to different perspectives. It can lead to dogma, prejudice.
He mentions research linking certainty to harmful actions, like people who are absolutely convinced they're right being capable of terrible things.
Yeah, Roy Baumeister's work on evil touches on that. Certainty allows people to justify actions they might otherwise question. He also uses examples like someone being sure their friend is making a mistake getting married.
Or that story about the woman with the false memory. Our brains create narratives, meaning.
No, they're meaning machines, he says. But those meanings aren't always accurate. We cling to beliefs.
So the takeaway is, be less certain.
Be willing to be wrong. See uncertainty not as a weakness, but as the necessary condition for growth. If you already know everything, you can't learn anything new.
Hold your beliefs a bit more lightly. Be open to revising them.
Exactly. It's about intellectual flexibility.
Okay, final actionable takeaway. Adopt the do something principle.
My personal favorite, maybe. It's so practical.
What's the core idea?
Basically, if you're stuck, unmotivated, overwhelmed, just do something, anything. Action itself can generate the inspiration and motivation you thought you needed to start.
So it flips the usual script we usually think. Motivation, inspiration, action.
Right. But Manson suggests it often works like this. Action, inspiration, motivation.
Take a small step, feel a tiny bit accomplished or interested, which then motivates you to take another step.
Precisely. He talks about his early days, feeling paralyzed starting his business, forcing himself to just write something, even if it was bad, got the ball rolling.
Like his math teacher's advice. Don't just stare at the problem. Start working on it, even if you don't know the answer yet. Just engage.
Yeah. And a side benefit is that failure becomes less daunting. If your metric for success is simply acting, then you succeed just by doing the thing, regardless of the immediate outcome.
That lowers the stakes, makes it easier to start.
Hugely. So if you're feeling stuck on a project or trying to adopt a new habit or value, just do something, one tiny action related to it. That can be enough to break the inertia.
Action is the engine, not the caboose.
You got it.
All right. Well, that wraps up our look at Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Feck. Some really practical, if counterintuitive, stuff in there.
Definitely challenging conventional wisdom.
We really hope these highlights and takeaways give you something to think about, maybe help you focus your energy on what truly adds meaning for you.
And if this sparked your interest and you want the full, uncensored Manson experience.
Yeah, we definitely encourage you to grab the book. It's a worthwhile read.
We'll put a link in the description below for you.
Thanks for tuning in to AI Book Highlights.